The scorching desert sun beat down on the small repair shop that Stein had built with his own hands 15 years ago. Located on the outskirts of New Sahara settlement, the shop was a haven for broken machinery, salvaged parts, and the dreams of a father who wanted nothing more than to give his daughter a better life. Fiza wiped the grease from her forehead with the back of her hand, leaving another dark smudge across her sun-bronzed skin. At 17, she had become just as skilled as her father in the art of mechanical repair. Her nimble fingers could navigate the most complex circuitry, and her mind could solve problems that stumped engineers twice her age. "Papa, come look at this," Fiza called out, her voice echoing through the cluttered workshop. Stein looked up from the hoverbike he was repairing, his weathered face breaking into a gentle smile. His daughter stood near the massive bay doors, pointing at something outside. He set down his plasma wrench and walked over, curiosity piquing his interest. What he saw made his breath catch in his throat. A massive ship lay crashed in the sand dunes, about half a kilometer from their shop. It was unlike anything Stein had ever seen, sleek yet brutalized, with hull plating that seemed to shift colors in the sunlight. Smoke rose from several gashes in its side, and the sand around it was scorched black. "It must have crashed during the night," Fiza said, her eyes wide with wonder. "Should we go check if anyone needs help?" Stein hesitated. In the outer colonies, crashed ships often meant trouble pirates, smugglers, or worse. But his conscience wouldn't let him ignore someone who might be injured. He nodded slowly. "Get the medkit and the portable scanner, and Fiza stay close to me." They traversed the dunes on foot, their boots sinking into the soft sand with each step. As they approached, the true scale of the vessel became apparent. It was at least 40 meters long, designed for a being much larger than any human. The hull had been breached in multiple places, and the acrid smell of burned circuits and exotic fuel filled the air. Stein motioned for Fiza to wait while he peered through one of the larger openings. Inside, the ship was in chaos. Panels hung loose from the walls, sparking intermittently. But what caught his attention was the figure slumped against the far wall. She was enormous, easily 3 meters tall, even while sitting. Her skin had a faint blue-gray tint, and her limbs were thick with corded muscle. Strange tattoos or markings covered her exposed arms. Most striking were her eyes, which fluttered open as Stein's shadow fell across her. They were a deep amber color, filled with pain and something else, calculation. "Stay back, human," she growled, her voice surprisingly melodious despite its warning tone. She tried to stand but collapsed back down, clutching her side where a nasty wound leaked dark purple blood. "We're not here to hurt you," Stein said, raising his hands in a peaceful gesture. "We're mechanics. Our shop is nearby. You're badly injured." The alien woman studied him for a long moment. Then her eyes moved past him to where Fiza had cautiously poked her head through the opening. Something in the alien's expression softened when she saw the young girl. "My ship, it needs repair," she said, each word seeming to cost her effort. "I can pay." Stein exchanged a glance with Fiza. The repairs would be extensive, but the alien technology intrigued him. And besides, leaving someone to die in the desert wasn't something he could live with. "We'll help you," he said. "But first, let's get you patched up." Over the next 3 days, their lives transformed. The alien, who introduced herself as Zara, proved to be a surprisingly patient once. Fiza had managed to seal her wound with some creative use of their biofoam and Zara's own first aid supplies. The alien woman watched with keen interest as father and daughter worked on her ship. Stein had never seen technology like this. The power core operated on principles he couldn't fully understand. But with Zara's terse instructions, he and Fiza managed to stabilize it. The weapons systems, and there were many, had been completely fried in whatever battle had damaged the ship. Fiza spent hours rewiring the navigation systems, her small hands able to reach places that even Zara couldn't access. "You have talent, little one," Zara said one evening, watching Fiza work. "Both of you do. It's rare to find such skill in such modest circumstances." Fiza beamed at the compliment. In the days they'd worked together, she'd grown fond of the giant alien. Zara told them stories of distant worlds, of civilizations that spanned solar systems, and of adventures among the stars. She never mentioned exactly what she did for a living, and Stein never asked. Some questions were better left unspoken. On the morning of the 4th day, they powered up the ship's systems. Everything hummed to life with a satisfying thrum that made Zara's eyes light up with relief. "Excellent work," she said, transferring a substantial amount of credits to Stein's account, far more than he'd expected. "You've saved my life, and I don't forget debts." As she prepared to leave, Zara paused at the boarding ramp. She looked at Fiza for a long moment, then reached into a compartment and pulled out a small device. If you ever need help, little mechanic, activate this. I'll come. She pressed it into Fizz's palm. They watched as the ship lifted off, sand swirling in great clouds. Stein put his arm around Fizz's shoulders as the vessel disappeared into the blue sky. That was amazing, Papa Fiza whispered. Steyn nodded, a slight unease settling in his chest. He'd noticed things during the repairs, the weapon mounts, the reinforced armor, the tactical displays. Whatever Zara was, she was no simple trader or explorer. Neither of them knew was that they had just repaired the ship of the galaxy's most feared woman with a bounty of 10 million credits on her head and a reputation for never failing a contract. In the far reaches of space, word was already spreading that someone had helped Zara the Merciless escape, that someone would come looking for answers, someone would come looking for them.